Welcome to the channel. So basically today I wanted to do a quick revision, a revised video about the Altra Trail lineup. I did one about sort of, I suppose, 6, maybe 2 months ago. Up there you'll see the link to that video. That was basically a quick video explaining the shoes that I have, how I rotate them and what I use them for. But I feel in the last maybe 6 or 7 weeks things have changed slightly. I've got a couple of newcomers in and I was probably a little bit unfair on 1 or 2 shoes, which I'm going to go into right now. So yeah, a couple of changes. So basically, I'll kind of try and keep this as brief as possible because I did quite a descriptive video before. So I'm going to literally kick things off now with the first one. We have the Altra King MT. This is the lightest of the trail range. Extremely grippy, very fun ride, great secure lockdown, Velcro tab at the top, 19mm of the Ego midsole, so everything's a really fun shoe to ride, and I think I was a little bit too harsh on him. First of all, I sort of said that it's just a bit too hard, a bit too responsive. There's a rock plate in here as well, so I think what it was that I was coming from a very bouncy Olympus shoe, and then I'll go into that, and the contrast was obviously huge. But this actually, I've been using it more now, it's a really fun shoe. It's probably the most sort of barefoot style of the Altra range, I think, in the trail lineup. It's the one where you definitely feel the ground. It almost feels, if possible, the flattest. I mean, they're all zero drop, but this one here feels the most just like as if you've just got a bit of protection underneath your foot, and that is it. It wraps around your foot, it's very light. So it's a fun shoe. It's great for mud, great traction, great for sort of hill sprints in thick sort of, you know, mud and slushy weather when it's wet. Not brilliant on road, but a fun shoe, and definitely, yeah, I was probably a little bit too harsh on my first review. So Altra King MT2, good one. Moving on, like last time we had the Superior. This is the Superior 4.5. This is probably one of the Altra's most comfortable uppers. It wraps around your foot like a slipper. This is a really sort of comfortable, sort of soft upper here. We have a 20, I think it's 22mm of the Quantic midsole. And again, this is extremely comfortable. There's not much traction, so it's not brilliant in wet, slippery mud. But it's a really fun shoe for more of those dry sort of buffed out trails and road, because you can sort of go along quite nicely because it is light. In fact, this actually feels probably one of the lightest ones here. But this was probably the most surprising shoe I had of 2020, because I just didn't really think much of it until I bought it, and I was like, "Wolf, it's actually quite a cool, fun shoe to ride." So yeah, a good shoe, not a massive amount of cushioning, but a fun shoe for dry conditionings. If you want to feel a bit more nimble, a bit more agile on the trails, the Superior 4.5 is good. They haven't updated this one yet, but they have changed the new colorway now of this one here. So the new one that I have got, I got rid of, well, I haven't got rid, but the Lone Peak 4 is now gone into the Lone Peak 5, but this is the all-weather. Now, we've got a 25mm stack height of Ego midsole, running obviously, as I said, all flat, all zero drop, and a sort of a waterproof membrane here. So plus point is extremely waterproof. There's not much water will get in unless it comes from the sides here. Negatives, it is quite heavy. This is over 400 grams. And also it just feels very stiff, this one here, really. It's a stiff shoe. So some people might like it, but personally I'm using this one here purely for hikes. So a lot of hiking. I haven't really run in this. I've done it a couple runs and I just found it a little bit too weighty. But the waterproof membrane works amazingly. It's a huge plus. So if you're looking for something that's waterproof, something you can go hiking in, I would definitely recommend the Lone Peak 5 all weather. But for runs, for me personally, I'm just finding it a little bit too heavy. I don't know what the Lone Peak 5 normal one is like, so I'm not talking about that one. I'd like to know actually if anyone's got both, how they compare. Please leave a comment below, see what they think, how these two compare to each other, the Lone Peak 5 and the Lone Peak all-weather 5. But yeah, so that's the LP 5 all-weather. The one that I didn't have last time, this is the Timp. The Timp 2. Now this would be my go-to all-favorite shoe of the Altra Trail lineup. I absolutely love this shoe. Amazingly, it's the sort of the Goldilocks of the trail shoes. The 29mm stack height of the Quantic midsole was superb. It's light, nimble, really nicely cushioned, perfect amount of protection. The grip was fine. It's just a max track sort of grip out here. Worked really well for me. But unfortunately, as you saw in my last video, if you had the sides blew out here on both shoes, exactly the same point, at around about 160, 170 miles into it, basically, which is just not acceptable. So the Timp 3 is coming out within probably the next 7 days in England, so hopefully I'm gonna get my hands on that quickly, and hopefully the issues that they had with the upper, the durability, they addressed, and if they have, then the Timp 3 is gonna be awesome, because can't fault the midsole. I loved it, really cushioned, really nice ground feel. You just sort of mold into that sort of Quantic midsole there. Bouncy, fun, just a really cushion. The width was fine as well with me. I did swap the inner, the insole, sorry, which gave you a little bit more sort of height, because the one thing I will say is that it's a bit shallow. It's not necessarily more narrow, but it is a bit more shallow. So by swapping the insole with a thinner one, you can give a bit more height, even just a couple millimeters, and that gives your toes a little bit more room to move around. But the Timp 2, I loved it until that happened. So yeah, Timp 3, let's fingers crossed that works. And then the old trusted workhorse, the Olympus. The Olympus 4, still love it, still awesome. The 33 millimeters of the A-bound midsole is still as bouncy and as cushioned as it was back in October when I picked it up. The tread, extremely muddy now, but actually this is one of the biggest problems with this tread. It just holds all the mud and it just stays there, so it sticks around literally. And the problem is it's a pretty heavy shoe, and when the mud in it as well, it just gets very heavy after a while. But that's the only sort of negative. I absolutely love the shoe. It is pretty much, you know, up there with my top 3 or 4 shoes of all time. The upper is a little bit of wear and tear there, but that's it. That's it. Still holding up really, really well. Still nice and bouncy, resilient. So, yeah, it's a good shoe. So I'm really impressed with the Altra Olympus 4. I'd be interested to see what they do with the 5. What if they change it with the 4.5, a slightly different version. But the 4 is a brilliant shoe. And as I've ranted and raved about the shoe for a long time, and I'm still a big fan of the Olympus 4. So, pretty quickly, that was it. I hope that sort of sums up the kind of almost the new Altra Trail lineup and how I use them. As I said, Timp 2, great shoe. If they sorted the durability out, okay, that's just not good. But the rest and the King MT, I was a bit too harsh on that, so I apologize, because that's a fun shoe. It's really good, really nice. You just get that awesome ground feel. As I said, it's almost like being, well, not barefoot, but it's the one where you have the most natural feel. You've got the most connection to the ground. You feel the ground a lot. Yeah, I like that one. It's a snug fit, but it's a good one. So there we go. That's it. So thank you very much for watching. I just now need to hoover up this place because I've got mud everywhere. So thank you, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. Please hit that subscribe button, because it'll be really appreciated. And if you have, thank you very, very much. And yeah, that's it for now. That's it from me, and I will see you soon. Oh, one last thing. I think Altra has probably had a bit of flack recently in the last 6 months. I think the hardcore fans have just got a little bit, I don't know, fed up or peeved or whatever with them, because obviously things have changed. I think the company got bought in 2018 by the company that owned North Face and Lee, and I can't remember the exact name, but anyway, they were taken over in 2018, and they have gone down a slightly different route. It's a bit more commercial, obviously, to make a bit more money. Therefore, they have changed things slightly, and they might have tapered things in a little bit and lost that old Altra big foot shape ethos. But I am personally, I'm sticking with them because I'm a big fan. And I'm just gonna, you know, even with stuff like this, I'm just gonna hope that the next iteration of the Timp is gonna be better. So yeah, I'm still sticking with them for now anyway, because as I said, I'm a big fan, and I do like the feel, especially of that Quantic midsole. It's brilliant. So yeah, thanks very much again, and see you soon. Cheers, bye bye.